Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Golden Bachelorette producers had huge request from Nancy Hulkower. Golden Bachelorette producers had a huge request for Nancy Hulkower recently. She opened up about it on a recent episode of Bachelor Happy Hour. She filled fans and Joe Umabal in on her big adventure. What is she talking about? Keep reading to find out more. Golden Bachelorette producers had a big request for Nancy Hulkower. Golden Bachelorette producers had a big request for Golden Bachelor alum Nancy Hulkower. Recently, Nancy appeared on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast to talk about it all. When producers called her to ask her to come to Tahiti to talk to Joan Vassos, they asked her to wear a disguise. She said, "Okay, this was my favorite thing in the world." A producer said, "We'd like for you to come, and it's gonna be Sunday." Now again, this is Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. I thought he meant next Sunday, so I said, "Okay," and he said, "And you need to bring a dress, sort of tropical, but not too summery." Nancy went on to say that the producer noted a final request. She continued, and then he said, "And we have one last request. You need to be in disguise." So my daughter who's in college was home, and then I'm like, "Okay, I have a day and a half." I'm like, "Okay, Maggie, I need you to go to CVS." And I'm thinking, like, how can I be incognito? The producers told her it had to be a surprise, and they were all leaving for Tahiti on the same plane. So she had to really be sneaky. Nancy described what she wore to the airport and on the flight. She wore a long ponytail, a black psycho bunny hat with a hot pink bunny on it, a black face mask, black leggings, and an oversized surfer sweatshirt that had writing on the sleeves. She almost got caught. Nancy Hulkower went on to say that Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos almost caught her. Joan was standing only 12 feet from where she was at. She let everyone go in front of her so that Joan would not notice her there. Nancy revealed it was such a rush because she wanted to do a good job, and it was important to her to deliver on her word and surprise Joan. Plus, it was really good to see her friend and be able to offer her some good advice. In a whirlwind season of The Golden Bachelorette, Nancy Hulkower has quickly become a fan favorite, known for her warm charm, quick wit, and unfiltered honesty. But according to a behind-the-scenes scoop, it wasn't just the fans captivated by Nancy. The producers themselves, recognizing her unique charisma, had an unprecedented request for Nancy, one that could shape her journey on the show in unexpected ways. The request that changed everything. When Nancy first arrived, producers saw her as a strong contestant, but weren't immediately aware of the kind of impact she'd have. However, as filming progressed, they realized Nancy's potential went beyond the usual role of a contestant. This wasn't just about her on-screen chemistry with the Golden Bachelor Jerry, it was her ability to connect with everyone in the cast and crew. Nancy had a magnetic, uplifting presence, one that producers believed could add an element to the show they hadn't seen before. In a move they hadn't made with any previous contestant, producers approached Nancy with a proposal. Would she be open to sharing more personal stories and deeper moments on camera? They felt that her insight and experiences could resonate with viewers, bringing a level of depth to the show that might change its entire tone. A balancing act. Honesty with boundaries. At first, Nancy was hesitant. She had come on the show for a chance at love, not to become the unofficial ambassador of her generation's wisdom and life experiences. But after a heartfelt discussion, Nancy agreed to open up, on her terms. She knew that being too vulnerable could leave her emotionally exhausted, but if she found a balance, it could help make her journey more meaningful. The producers assured Nancy that she could maintain control over what she shared. They didn't want her to feel like she was performing. They just wanted her to be herself, to show viewers the real person behind the polished Bachelorette exterior. This freedom to create boundaries ultimately convinced Nancy to lean in, and soon enough, she was sharing candid moments about her life, love, and the ups and downs of growing older. Nancy's stories captivate viewers. Once Nancy agreed to this unique request, the entire production began to shift. Episodes featuring Nancy quickly became the most talked-about segments. Her stories resonated with people of all ages as she recounted the trials of singlehood in her 60s, the joy of rediscovering love, and the surprising revelations that came with dating later in life. She talked openly about the joy and complexity of becoming a mother, the heartbreak of loss, and the fulfillment she had found in creating a new life chapter on her own terms. Audiences saw themselves in her words, and her journey became a mirror for viewers to reflect on their own lives. Jerry and Nancy, a special connection. As the season progressed, Nancy's openness not only endeared her to viewers, but also drew her closer to Jerry. He admired her strength and vulnerability, and the two developed a unique bond. The producers, thrilled with Nancy's response to their request, began crafting dates that would allow her to continue sharing her perspective, turning dates into conversations rather than the typical spectacle. On one date, producers planned a memory lane theme, giving Nancy and Jerry a chance to share personal memorabilia. Nancy brought a small worn album filled with photos of her family and friends from all stages of her life. Each page was a window into her past, and as she shared these memories, Jerry found himself captivated by the life she had lived and her unabashed way of honoring every experience. For Jerry, this was the first time he had seen someone on the show bring such raw and real memories, and it drew him closer to Nancy. It was no longer just about finding love. It was about recognizing the value of shared experiences and mutual respect. The producer's plan pays off. The producer's decision to encourage Nancy to be authentic on her own terms was paying off in more ways than they'd anticipated. Ratings surged as viewers tuned in weekly to hear what Nancy would share next. Social media buzzed with hashtags like #RealTalkWithNancy and #GoldenWisdom, and fans flooded forums and comment sections to discuss the moments that had touched them the most. Nancy's impact became a phenomenon, reaching beyond the Golden Bachelorette audience. Mainstream media started picking up on her influence, and major publications interviewed her about the changing landscape of love, aging, and reality TV. In one particularly memorable moment, Nancy candidly discussed her fears about falling in love again at her age. She spoke about the risk of heartbreak, the resilience required to start over, and the courage it took to let someone new into her life. That episode became one of the most watched in the show's history, cementing her status as a beloved figure both on and off the screen. A new direction for the franchise. Nancy's unique role on The Golden Bachelorette didn't just affect her journey, it also began shifting the direction of the entire franchise. Producers realized that audiences were hungry for more than just romance. They wanted stories that spoke to the depth and complexity of real lives. Nancy's presence had opened a new door for the show, one that allowed for a more meaningful exploration of relationships, growth, and life's unexpected second chances. Inspired by her popularity, the producers have hinted at plans to incorporate more real talk segments into future seasons, providing a platform for contestants to share their life stories beyond the romantic narrative. This could include guest appearances from people in Nancy's age group to discuss topics like career changes, loss, joy, and personal growth in later life stages. Nancy's legacy on The Golden Bachelorette. Nancy's decision to be herself has left an indelible mark on The Golden Bachelorette. Her courage to embrace vulnerability, paired with the producer's support, created a richer experience not just for her, but for everyone involved. Fans felt her authenticity, and her journey was more than just a love story. It was a reflection on resilience, joy, and the beauty of life at any age. Now, as the season finale approaches, rumors swirl about whether Nancy and Jerry will end up together. But regardless of the outcome, Nancy has become much more than a contestant. She's a beloved figure who has proven that love and wisdom only grow deeper with age. Her legacy is one of authenticity, connection, and the courage to embrace every moment. For the Golden Bachelorette producers, their request to Nancy Hulkower was a risk, but one that paid off, forever changing the landscape of the show.